Finger pointing over debt ceiling. It's almost like someone flipped a switch and the press suddenly discovered that Joe Biden is unpopular. Or perhaps it's that Democrats are increasingly nervous about the fate of the Biden presidency, but the previous conventional wisdom, that Biden had simply hit a rough patch, is being replaced by a more anguished debate.
Each poll has been dutifully reported, each setback adequately chronicled. But there was no sense of critical mass. As with yesterday's Politico headline, the president's decline is alarming, Biden trapped in coronavirus malaise. Now I always hasten to add that polls are a snapshot and politics can be ephemeral. It would make no more sense to write off Biden than it did when he got trounced in Iowa and New Hampshire. Biden's problem is larger than the press, but his unusually low media profile isn't helping him. He grants few interviews, takes questions a couple of times a week, and seems uninterested in driving a consistent media message. So the story becomes about vaccine mandate battles or Hill gridlock or Haitian migrants, with Biden and his team playing catch-up or, worse, looking like bystanders.
Biden doesn't need to talk to reporters 4 times a day, as Donald Trump often did. But while sticking to mostly scripted events worked fine in the campaign and when things were going well, it's a strategy that is ill-suited to turbulent times. After nearly 9 months in office, Biden is starting to own the lack of results as well as the blunders, such as the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. He looks like he can't control his own party as progressive and moderate Democrats fight about trillion-dollar spending bills, when most of the country isn't sure what's in that legislation. At a presser yesterday, a reporter asked Nancy Pelosi, "Could you do a better job of messaging?" "I think you all could do a better job of selling this," Pelosi replied. "Madam Speaker, it's not our job to sell your complicated legislation. We do tell people about the provisions on climate change and Medicare and child tax credits, which poll well individually, but that's overwhelmed by mind-numbing process stuff like reconciliation." If Biden had taken the win on the infrastructure bill, rather than bowing to the Bernie wing by tying it to a gargantuan measure that is way too costly to pass, his fortunes would be looking different now. And of course, it's not a surprise that Biden's plunging numbers pretty closely track the Delta variant surge, which thankfully is starting to decline. Politico reports that 9 members of a Pennsylvania focus group gave Biden grades of C or lower, and kept circling back to COVID. President Joe Biden speaks about reaching 300 million COVID-19 vaccination shots in the state dining room of the White House, Friday, June 18, 2021, in Washington. Biden supporter Sarah Longwell, who had been a Republican strategist, uses the word malaise. "People don't feel like their lives have been improved. They did sort of feel that promises aren't being kept." Veteran Democratic strategist Simon Rosenberg says the president's decline is alarming. "It's serious. But it also can be reversed." In National Review, DeRoy Murdoch says the Republicans are being too nice to the president by saying things like Biden's not in control. He has no idea what's going on. Biden doesn't know what day it is. That's true, and ripping Biden's policies makes more sense for the GOT than denigrating his mental acuity or pretending that someone else is pulling the strings. How worried are Biden backers? Michael Gerson, the Bush White House staffer turned Washington Post columnist, says that total GOT control of the government in the hands of a re-elected, empowered Donald Trump in 2025 is now the likely outcome. For Gerson, a never-Trumper, that is a nightmare prospect. That seems like a pretty pessimistic take for an election more than 3 years away. But it suggests that Biden has to dig his way out of a deep hole just to regain the confidence of his supporters.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.